What do you do if you're having problems taking care of your child and unfortunately there isn't a super nanny around to help you? Well, Tara Stanton and Sophie Burns are two nannies who've set up Positive Results to come to your rescue. Let's meet them now. Welcome to you both, Tara and Sophie, and Edward. Edward's your little boy.
Yes.
Tara, do tell us, what is Positive Results?
Well, basically, we're a company which help parents with advice and tips from conception through to graduation, and we offer all sorts of advice on anything you can think of.
And why are you qualified to do that?
Well, Sophie and I are both nannies, and I found that when I fell pregnant with Edward, my credibility with other mummies went up, and they started asking me questions. So I thought there's a gap in the market for mothers who want somebody who's childcare qualified to give them advice and to give them tips.
Now, Sophie, the business is relatively new, but so far are you popular?
Yes, we've had great feedback from all the clients that we've seen so far, and we've had a lot of interest, and it's very exciting.
Now, what would I do if I've got a specific problem? Say I've got a teething problem with my 2-year-old or something. Would I phone you up, or how does the system work?
We have 3 tiers that you could choose from, depending on your budget, really. You can email us, you can telephone us, or you can book us for a face-to-face consultation.
Now, you are in fact what's known as a super nanny. You've been a nanny for a very long time and a Norland nanny, so
Yeah.
You're hugely qualified for the task. Can you kind of run through some of the things so far that people have asked help on?
We've had a lot of parents who want a discipline structure for their children. They find that they can't really agree. One parent wants to discipline one way and another parent another way, and they want something that we can come in with that is not necessarily a compromise, but it suits them and it suits their children and it gets the results that they want, to have some kind of structure that works across the family so that there's more harmony.
Now, Tara, how much does this service cost? Is it something anyone can afford?
Well, one of the reasons we set it up was so that we could be affordable for anybody. So we have, again, a structure where we have a mother's network where you can have 2 short email answers a month and also get a monthly newsletter, and that's currently £4 a month.
Oh, that's very good value.
And if you just want a short email answer, then it's £5. If you want a telephone consultation, then for every 15 minutes it's £10. And if you want face-to-face, then it's £16 per 15 minutes. It's all laid out in the website as well.
And do you do an emergency service for someone who's having a real panic?
We actually do have an emergency service. We have an emergency telephone contact which you can ring at any time, which is a £2 surcharge on the ordinary telephone costs. And also if you're a Mums Network member, then you get a 5% discount on all our other contacts as well.
With a telephone conversation, can you really provide an efficient service? Is that enough, do you think?
Certainly, for most cases, especially if you've got something that we can answer within sort of 30 or 60 minutes. If you're clear on what it is you're looking for, then we can offer a very clear response that's very tailored to the questions that you ask and the answers that you give. It's very easy. Sophie and I know the right questions to ask you to get a feel for the type of parent you are and actually what the question is that you're asking, because sometimes you say you want help with one thing, but what it actually is it's something slightly different.
So, over to you, experienced Norland nanny one. If I had, well, and I do have, my 5-year-old daughter has had chewing gum stuck into her hair, I phone you up and say, panic, beautiful long locks, am I going to have to chop them all off? What will you suggest to me?
I'd say go to your freezer and get some ice.
And stick her head in it.
Stick some ice onto the chewing gum and you should be able to break it off without breaking her hair or having to cut it off.
I mean, are those the sort of problems you could deal with?
Yes, yes. As we've got probably 35 years of experience between us, there's not much that we haven't come across and could solve.
And Tara, back to you again. I mean, what's the weirdest thing someone's asked you?
Well, the chewing gum one's one that I've dealt with, and again, we have more than one tip for how to get rid of it. The weirdest one is probably a little girl who happily screamed any time of day or night whenever she was happy. So Mum would be walking through the supermarket and the child would start screaming, and the parents obviously thought that other parents look around and tut at you, and they wanted some help with how to deal with it.
And apart from masking tape, what did you suggest?
Well, there's various suggestions. One of them is to distract, to try and find the behaviour that leads up to the scream and to distract them during that time. And the main one is to not reward them for the scream, to ignore them while they're screaming, and as soon as they stop, turn back to them and give them a great big smile and say, "Clever girl, what a lovely quiet little girl." And unfortunately, in the meantime, you should put up with the embarrassment.
And Sophie, you must have this all the time, but people with children who are causing a problem and they don't know how to cope without losing their rag, getting really angry with the child, and obviously I suppose sometimes it borderlines real helpline, doesn't it?
Well, it does, yes. And we always say to parents, you can't expect your children to know how to control themselves and their emotions if you can't keep your control. So if you feel that you will lose control in front of your children, we recommend that the parents have a time out and they go somewhere and they sit and they count to 10 until they can get it back and be in charge of the situation, because children shouldn't be in charge. They shouldn't be in control.
No, talking of someone who's in charge of the situation, Teddy, you look like you're having a pretty good time. What's your mummy like? If she's a nanny, are you a super mum as well?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Does it make you a better mum?
I think it makes me a more confident mother now, but certainly early on it was very difficult. I expected to find it easier than I did, and I had just as many troubles as other mums, and it makes me much more empathetic with the mums that we talk to now.
So that helped you set up the business, really?
Certainly did, yes. It helped me realise that there was a space that some people needed, a phone number they could ring, they needed an email address they could just say, "I have no idea what to do, is this normal? Is this what's supposed to be happening at the moment?"
So, Sophie, what kind of people call you?
We have people who are very educated calling us. They found out so much information from the internet and from all the books that you can possibly have on the subject of childcare and parenting, and still they haven't got the definitive answer, and that's what we want to provide, something quick that they don't have to spend hours looking up. They can just phone us and we can tell them and save them a lot of time.
And do you work with any consultants or paediatricians, or do you just really have your knowledge from being a nanny and that's where you draw upon? I suppose books as well help.
Yes, but mostly it's the experience of working so long with children and with dealing with parents as well, because you have to know how to... If parents are having a problem with their child, you can't go in and tell them they're being bad parents. You have to tell them that they are doing a great job, but they might like to try an alternative.
Thank you. Well, I'm sure Edward has something to say about your business not becoming an empire too quickly.
Yes.
But it's going to grow. It's going to get bigger and bigger.
We hope so, yes. Today London, next week the world.
Well, best of luck with your business. I really hope it takes off.
Thank you.
To both of you.